Well, hello, hello. Here we are again, another edition of the Orchid and Kato show. I hope everybody's had a great week. We've had a pretty good week, I guess. Let's just go ahead and just jump right into the wrestling here. First thing we're going to talk about. First off, we got our 3 topics. We're only doing 3 today. Then we got our top 5 women that we chose. I'm interested to see who you picked. You probably can guess who I picked.
Yeah.
But top 3 topics of the week for you and I anyway. Let's start with Brock Lesnar and his segment from Monday Night Raw. Did you like it?
It was nice to hear him talk more. When he was at the UFC, when he did the face-off with Champ, he was able to do his own promo, which was really cool. So I really enjoyed actually seeing him talk, which we don't really get because Paul Heyman is his talking guy. I'm curious what's going to happen with Paul Heyman now.
I don't know. I don't think it feels like a hard separation. It's not like he beat him up. He just sort of roughed him to the ground a bit, and so I don't know.
So they're just in an abusive relationship now?
Maybe. I like the idea of getting Brock and Paul Heyman away from each other. I think if they're trying to make Brock the villain and Roman Reigns the babyface, having this extraordinary talker in Brock's corner does no favor to help getting him heel heat. So I like the separation. I think it's better. I think that for the most part, WWE's did a pretty good job of telling the story that, Brock's the villain now, which they haven't always, in the last 3 to 5 years, really haven't done a great job of.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to want to like Brock, but it's also easy to want to dislike Brock because I believe it. I really believe that he doesn't care about the WWE and he doesn't care about the fans. He just genuinely only cares about getting these paychecks. So I think it's, I really, there's 2 reasons I want Roman Reigns to win at SummerSlam. First, I've just had enough. Like, I don't want to see this match anymore.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'm just tired of Brock being the champ. I'm not saying he needs to, go away forever, but I just don't want to see him as the champ anymore. I want to see someone new and different.
Why can't he just kind of be like The Undertaker? The Undertaker this past year has come around. It will be 3 times after the Australia thing. But, why can't he be more like The Undertaker in the sense that he only comes around for special events?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. But
why do we have to have him have a belt?
I don't know. He's an attraction. And I think in some ways it's really worked. To the point people are really fed up with him being the champ. So I'm hopeful that he gets a negative reaction that they've worked for, and that Roman Reigns really gets a positive reaction. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I kind of do too, but I hope. I hope so. For me, I like the Brock stuff. I know there was some uproar on the internet about, Brock not watching the show and sort of disparaging the product, but I think WWE does enough disparaging of their own product on their own. This thing with Brock was fine. I think that, it just sort of lends itself to he doesn't care about WWE. So
Yeah.
I was happy. I thought it was good. I think we probably won't see him again until SummerSlam, but
Probably
that's
not.
fine. So let's, speaking of people who fought in UFC, let's jump into our second topic, Rhonda Rousey. She's back from the suspension, back on television now, and now they've announced...
her first ever singles match on Raw.
Yeah. What do you think? Are you at all interested to see this, or it's just it's nothing that really gets you going?
I'm excited to see it. I've said before that I'm not the biggest fan of Ronda Rousey, but I'm excited to see what she can actually do on just a regular Monday night, not a big event. And she's in there with Alicia Fox. I haven't really had any problems with Alicia Fox. She hasn't been the best wrestler, but I haven't really seen her do any awful stuff. So I'm anxious to see how they work together.
Yeah, I am too. I love Alicia Fox. I think she's the absolute most underrated woman on the roster. I think that her execution is brilliant. Her timing is really good. Her athleticism is off of the charts. And I think when they allow her to have television time, she envelops the screen. Like, you want to look and see what kind of face she's going to make,
Yeah.
what kind of movements she's going to make. I really like Alicia Fox. I think she's been so misused over the last 10 years of being there. Like, she could have been a
bigger
woman
star.
that could have been a big star. I don't know if there's something backstage, if there's something going on that I don't know about. But I think just from a television presentation, like, I think she's brilliant. I think that my worry is next week. I understand why they would do it, but my worry is that it's just going to be a straight, 30-second squash.
Right.
And I hope that's not the case, because I think that it's a good opportunity for Alicia Fox to shine.
Right. But it's going to be a berry.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I'm anxious to see it. Last thing we're going to talk about, last night on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan and The Miz had a screen-to-face confrontation. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I did not. The baby crying stuff was really awful to me. Like, I did, like, awful in a bad sense, not like awful as like it was a good heel thing. I didn't care for the crying thing. Like, it kind of felt, it made the whole conversation seem more scripted. If they wouldn't have had that little piece in there, I think it would have been better. Because, like, it didn't seem like a script. It seemed like they were actually having a conversation back and forth. But then once that baby thing came up, it was kind of...
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really think about it that way, but you're definitely 100% right. I feel like I knew that it took away from it. Like, it just... For me, from my standpoint, I get like, it felt scripted. Like, that makes perfect sense now that I hear it. But, like, for me, it just felt like Daniel Bryan, if he's the uber baby face, why are we relating him to a crying baby? Like, how does that help him get more over with the fans?
Right.
Like, I just didn't like it. Up to that point, I thought it was the best television of the whole week.
Yeah.
Like, I thought the promo was brilliant on both parts. It felt very organic. And then, like, all the goodwill that they had accomplished to that point, that particular segment, was sort of wiped out by something that I mean, it did. I don't understand. What was the point?
Right.
I will say I hope that they get it right, because they were so close to getting it right that I thought, hey, maybe they're going to do it. And then they're like, no. You want something good? Let me yank the rug out from under you. We're going to give you trash now. This is the match I'm most looking forward to over the next
Couple of weeks.
Over the next year, hopefully.
They said that maybe it might happen at SummerSlam. Do you think that they're still going to build it? Or do you think, since they already said SummerSlam, it's going to happen?
I would think it's going to happen at SummerSlam. My hope is we don't get a definitive conclusion to it there. I hope that it sort of drags on, like, some sort of a count out, or, rare. I really hate non-finishes, but in this particular situation, I really hope there's a non-finish.
Somebody gets involved.
Or just somebody, Daniel Bryan, beats him up so bad that he runs away. Like, that's a great story to me. That's, The Miz saying, or even his wife coming out and saying that, somebody's wife getting involved or something. I think there's a million different things they can do to not give an active conclusion to this. So, all right. So here's the part that I'm most curious about. You and I have not talked about this.
Nope.
I have no idea who your top 5 are.
I have some idea.
By theory, you have no idea who my top 5 are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The top 5 women. If you were going to start a wrestling promotion, the brand new Orchid Wrestling Federation.
Of all women.
Who were the top 5? Starting with number 5, and we'll work our way backwards to number 1. Number 5.
Well, I did not really put them in an order. Alexa Bliss.
Alexa Bliss. Why Alexa Bliss?
I do not like her, but for the reason that she's a good heel.
Okay.
So I think that you need a good heel, and I think that she can do that.
Okay. I'm going to upset a lot of people right now. I did not put Alexa Bliss in my top 5. This was actually harder for me in a lot of ways than what the guys were. 1, 2, 3 were like home runs for me. I had no doubt in my mind who my 1, 2, 3 was. But then 4 and 5, both my 4 and 5 I felt like were good picks. And Alexa Bliss is somebody that could have been in my number 5 spot. But, when you get it down to it, like, they're really... I don't know if there's ever been a better time for women's wrestling. Because there's so many good females on the roster right now. So for me, my number 5... Naomi. I think her athleticism is fantastic. I think that I love the glow entrance. Like, I think it's really fun. I don't know. I think that there's something, and I've seen her have really good matches. What do you think?
Well, she is my number 4 pick.
All right. So we're sort of right there, 4 and 5. All right. So you agree? You like?
Yes.
What do you like best about her?
Her athleticism. I love that. Yeah, like just what she like. I wish you could see more of her promos. I don't know if she's good on promos, but when she's in the ring.
Yeah, I think maybe to me, like when I watch her, that's her sort of only weakness in her game is her promos. Not that they're like a disaster,
right,
but they don't grab you.
Right.
So that's for me, that's where I'm at. So okay, so for me, my number 4, let me bring it up here so I'm not making a mistake. I don't want you to see. My number 4 has been lost. But I can tell you who my number 4 is. It's Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair could have been realistically 2, 3, or 4. Like these next 3 are so close that I mean, it could have went anyway. I used to be somebody that when she came on the television, when she first came up, I was like, this is bathroom time. Like I have nothing invested.
Right.
I've never been so glad to be proven wrong. Her match quality is really good.
Yeah.
I feel like she's completely come out of her dad's shadow.
Yeah.
Her promos, again, maybe are her weakness to me, but the matches, her storytelling, her way of getting people involved and invested in her matches are great. I'm way on board with Charlotte Flair.
I agree with you. I didn't really care for her in the beginning because of, she got there because of her dad. So, yeah, I agree with you. She's actually on my list too. But I would probably rank her higher.
Okay, you have her higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay, who you got at number 3?
Bailey.
Bailey, okay.
I think she is able to grab the younger audience very well, and I think that that's very important. If you get the kids, you get the entire family.
Okay, all right. Bailey, great pick. You know I love that pick.
I know.
You got to find out where I'm going to stick her at on my list. 1, 2, or 3.
I bet 1.
We're going to have to wait and find out. Number 3 for me, the boss, Sasha Banks. Matches out of this world. So good. Maybe as good as anybody right now. Matches are great. The presentation of her character is fantastic. I find her promos among my top 5, maybe the best. I'm not saying like she's the best in the company. There's some folks that I don't have in my top 5. Like I think Carmella's promos amongst the women are probably the best right now. Like, and I don't know, like she's head and shoulders above the other women right now.
On promos.
On promos. Wrestling, not so much, and that's probably why I left her down as far as what I could have. But in reality, she could have easily slid into that number 5 spot. Like, I really like Carmella, but I left her off my top 5. But getting back to Sasha Banks, I think that she just has a unique charisma, and I think you're going to find across the board, like my top 5 all have a very unique charisma that makes people want to gravitate to them first, and secondly, buy their merchandise. And if you're wanting to be a wrestler, that's what you need to be a very top wrestler. Somebody, they're gravitated to you, and maybe they can't explain specifically why, but they want to buy your t-shirt, and they want to watch you whenever you're on television. That's a wrestler. That's why I put her at number 3.
Maybe I'm in the minority, but I do not.
I don't know what you're looking for.
I do not like Sasha Banks.
Oh my god.
I can't. I don't know what it is. Yeah, she has good matches, but I don't know. I can't.
Okay.
I can't get behind her at all.
All right, so she's not your number 2.
No.
Who is number 2?
I would say it's hard to pick. Flair.
Okay, you got
2.
Flair at number 2. All right, that's higher than what I had her. Why do you have her so high?
For her match quality. And last night she got a great pop when she came back, which is very important. I really do enjoy her matches. Like you said, the story that she portrays in her matches is great.
Yeah, I agree. Flair's really great, really great. So, I went over pretty well. I think that, I can't disagree with you putting her at number 2.
Yeah.
Like I said, I could have put her anywhere from 4 to 2. My number 2 is Bailey. You thought number 1, but it's number 2.
Okay.
You know, I love Bailey. And I think in 1 year ago, it would have been an easy number 1 for me. I think that maybe they've dropped the ball a little bit with her there, but she has great matches. Absolutely great matches. Her character is so fun.
Yeah.
It's so relatable for little girls. And I don't want to say this disparagingly, because I'm not saying she's not a very pretty girl, but she has a very plain look to her. I think she's very, very pretty, but you know, to the dorks that eat boogers, she's not like Alexa Bliss.
Right.
But to me, I think from a marketable standpoint, like it makes her so much more endearing to just be sort of like the every woman.
Right.
And every little girl can get behind a Bailey and say, I love Bailey. I can be Bailey. And that's what I felt like, even though, you know, nobody else can be John Cena because he's like this. But I think a lot of young teenage boys thought, I can be John Cena. I'm sort of cool like John Cena.
Right.
And I think the same thing can happen with Bailey. Like girls from 6 up to 16 can say, you know, I love wrestling, and Bailey sort of embodies what, you know, so to me, like, in some ways, maybe she is the single most, if they would do things right, the single most marketable woman on the roster, and maybe the most marketable person, male or female, on the roster. Like, there's just something really special about her.
I completely agree with you. Why do you think they won't push her, though?
I don't know. Maybe there's something backstage that I don't understand. I don't know. The roaring consensus every time somebody disagrees with what WWE is doing is that Vince McMahon is out of touch. I mean, he is in his 70s. Now, you know, he knows way more about wrestling than you and I and 15 other people put together combined know. But maybe he's not all in on this women's situation. I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around it. I just simply cannot. Maybe there's concerns about her promos because they're not perfect and they're not brilliant. Maybe that's the only thing I can figure. But I don't understand why everybody has to have 5-minute promos.
Right.
Like she can do it with a smile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she can do it with a match. And she can do it with an angle.
Right.
She doesn't have to cut a 20-minute promo. Roman Reigns was forced his microphone in his face. He's not a promo guy. He will run through you. I mean, I know you're young and you may not remember, but the reason why Bill Goldberg worked is not because he could cut a promo. He was terrible as a promo guy, like awful. But he ran through guys, and you believed that he was mowing people down, and he was just running people over. Why we can't have guys like that anymore, I don't know, but it works.
Because they have to be the face of the company and be able to actually have a conversation.
Bill Goldberg was the face of WCW during a very prosperous time, and he, you know, he didn't cut promos, so it can be done. They just got to be smarter. So, all right, last one, number 1.
I put Becky as my number 1.
Becky Lynch at number 1.
Yeah.
Really? You know, I don't have Becky Lynch on my list at all.
I knew you wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't know if she's my number 1 pick as my favorite women's wrestler right now, but for starting a company, I think that she gets the people. I don't know.
I cannot believe it. Becky, I don't have her on my list at all.
I knew you wouldn't.
She could have been at number. She was one of those ones. She could have been at number 5. Okay, so I mean, you like her matches, I assume. Yeah. How do you feel about her promos?
I like her promos. I think the fans love them too. I mean, you heard it on last night. She started talking, and the fans were cheering and having a good time. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can see top 5, but man, it's hard for me to wrap my head around number 1. The reason is, like, I always go back to merchandise. Are people buying her T-shirts?
Do they sell those goggles?
If they do, I've not really seen them. If they're not, they should be, because I'm sure people would buy them. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think her matches are fine. Mm-hmm. They're not like next level, like say Sasha or Bailey or Flair. They're good. They're like second level.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not saying throw her off the roster. I like her. It's just hard for me to buy her at number one. That's really you blew me out of the water. I would not have predicted that. Mm-hmm. I do agree. She gets an amazing reaction every time she comes out.
Yeah,
it's really good. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe not likely. One guess as to who my number one is.
I have no idea. I would have thought.
I can't believe this person isn't on your list. Ronda Rousey.
Oh.
You left Ronda Rousey off your list?
I don't really like Ronda Rousey.
It doesn't matter if you like her.
I know.
If you were starting a company, would you want Ronda Rousey on your roster?
I don't know.
Really? You'd have picked, still knowing Ronda Rousey, you would still pick the 5 that you have ahead of Ronda Rousey?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Even Alexa Bliss and all of them. Okay. So marketable.
I understand that. Again, it's one of those, like, Sasha Banks. I can't really tell you why I don't like her, but I don't like her. Ronda Rousey really hasn't done anything to cause me to not like her. Don't like her.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I don't get it. I love her. We have one of her T-shirts upstairs. My wife has one. I don't know. I think that you're going to get 5 years of interesting television. I'm not going to say every match is going to be great with her. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, we're going to get 5 years of interesting television based on Ronda Rousey. She's, you better get with it because her and Flair are going to main event WrestleMania next year.
I know.
Okay. Is there anybody you felt sort of guilty about not putting on your list that we haven't talked about?
Natalie.
Okay, Natalie. That's one I was sort of wondering if you felt that way too. Like I really like I like Natty a lot from 5 years ago. She does nothing for me now. Like,
yeah.
If they let her go tomorrow, I feel nothing.
Right.
What about any of these other girls, like the Riot Squad?
I don't like the Riot Squad.
Okay.
I don't like the gimmick. I like. They said she had Viking ancestry on Tuesday. I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah, I can't remember what her name was either.
The big one.
Yeah.
The brown hair.
Right.
I like her. I don't like where she's at right now. I think she puts on good matches. Mm-hmm. I don't know about promos because
she has a very deep southern drawl, so it's going to be hard to get over that. But I think it works for television.
Right.
But, historically, people with southern draws, Vince doesn't seem to like them very much. So.
But I like her. I don't really care for Ruby, and I don't really care for the blonde one. I don't understand, like, I don't like the Riot.
Okay. I like Ruby Riot. I think that there's something sort of unique about her that I can get with her. And her matches are good. Speaking of people, if we are going to do this 1 year from now, mark my words, that blonde girl that's on SmackDown, what's her name?
Mandy Rose.
Mandy Rose is going to be jammed down our throat over the course of next year.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't look like a real person. Like she's
she's
pretty.
Very beautiful.
Like she's not like a real person.
Right.
And she's in great shape. Mm-hmm. And I heard them talking on YouTube about her being able to squat like she's in like a fitness model and like.
Right.
I've not seen her stink out the ring yet, which is what I sort of expected when she came up. So get ready for that. Yeah. I still feel sort of bad for leaving Carmella off of it because those promos are magic. And the matches, I keep saying, the matches aren't that great. I haven't seen a really bad match. Now, she misses little spots sometimes. Yeah. Like she did some stuff with Asuka a few weeks ago where she sort of,
Yeah, in last night's match with Charlotte Flair, and maybe it was because it was with Charlotte Flair, but you kept saying that, this is good, that, look what they're doing. I really like that. You said that a couple times last night, and I don't know if that's because Charlotte was in the ring and Charlotte was carrying Carmella or not, but you seemed to enjoy that match last night.
I did, yeah. Well, I mean, Charlotte's a good worker, and, a good worker can have good matches with everybody, and I think Charlotte sort of carried her. So, all right. I guess that's it for now. I really would love to know. I know somebody got back to us last week. Let us know who their top 5 was. Jimmy, I think, is the one that did. I hope somebody else gets back to us about who your top favorite 5 females were. We'll come back again here next week. Next week, the selection is much smaller, but let's do tag teams next week.
Okay.
Top 5 tag teams. I think there's probably 8 or 10. So we're sort of axing. We're really just saying who we don't like. At some point, what would be fun?
Our least favorite wrestlers.
Who are the 5 people, if you had to cut them from television altogether,
Okay.
who would they be? So we're going to bring that up in a few weeks. Next week, we'll go to the tag team. So it's been fun. You have fun? Mm-hmm. It's been fun for me, too. I hope you guys had fun as well. Please interact with us. We enjoy that a lot. David is somebody that interacts with us every week, so we appreciate you, David. And we'll see you next week. Please stop having bad matches. You're ruining my life.